Right.
I know everybody.
We didn't ask that so late today.
I didn't know somebody else.
You going around?
Yeah. How much?
Did they pay you rent?
No. You think I should have asked for it?
It's cancel day.
So you don't ask, you won't know.
Want to get it now. Good, how are you? We need to talk. Thank you.
We're coming to time. You know, I just need to put people, make people feel comfortable.
Oh, man. Some resolutions. On those big dots.
You check the inbox. Check your inbox. Your inbox.
Did she send them to me?
She sent them to everybody. She was sent them to you. Council Mayor. Hope you. What else she
These
did?
are all the same.
What else she did? She prepared. She prepared rude copies of everything on the consent agenda.
These are all the same. Did you know?
All the what?
Have them?
Well,
This is on the-
that's what I'm working on now.
Should be in the living circle.
But they may be in there on their desk.
Because if you didn't send me.
We're gonna ask everybody to please turn off all their devices. Their board computers.
Yeah,
phones,
she's
any type of electronic devices. We'll start right at 6 o'clock p.m. And we do have a quorum, so we'll start right at 6 o'clock p.m. Just ask everybody to please silence your devices. Rather than all speakers tonight, please speak into your microphones. So everyone can hear before it is being recorded. So please look into your microphones. Thank you so much. Everybody.
Good evening.
Good evening.
How you doing, sir? My phone. Time is now 6:00 p.m. and this meeting of the Selma City Council is hereby called to order. We welcome you to council chambers for tonight's meeting. At this time, we're going to ask Councilwoman Lisa James, please offer our invitation for the evening.
May we bow and pray? Oh, gracious Heavenly Father, we come before you today, Lord, just thanking you for all the things you have done for us. God, we just thank you that you've allowed us to assemble here in your place this afternoon, Father. Father, we pray that everything that we said, done, and heard will be the glory of you to move the city forward. God, we pray for the mayor, all the council, and all the citizens of Selma, that we will come together and work in peace and harmony to bring Selma back to that beloved Queen City. Oh, Father, we're going to give you all the praise and all the glory for what you have already done for us and what you're going to do for us in the future. God, we magnify you, we glorify you, and we continue to lift you up. God, we want to send a special prayer for all those in the city of Selma that's battling with COVID or any other kind of illness. God, you touch in a mighty way and heal their bodies so they become strong and be able to be back doing your glory. In Jesus' name we pray.
Amen. Amen. Thank you so much, Councilwoman James. At this time, let's all stand for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much, everyone. You may be seated. At this time, we're going to ask our clerk to please conduct our roll call for the evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
President Jones.
Present.
Councilman Harden.
Present.
Councilwoman Christie Thomas. Councilman Carmichael.
Present.
Councilwoman James.
Present.
Councilman Randolph. Councilman Jemison.
Here.
Councilwoman Jamie Thomas.
Present.
Councilman Johnson.
Here.
Thank you so much, Council, for your responses, and thank you, Madam Clerk, for conducting our roll call. Let us turn our attention to the agenda, which provides us with our character trait of the month. Our character trait of the month is effort. All growth depends upon activity. There is no development physically or intellectually without effort, and effort means work. Let us pay attention to our character trait of the month, effort. At this time, Council, you do have the agenda before you. We have a few inclusions that we need to make. Under the announcements, we're going to add Mr. Sam Walker from the Voting Rights Museum to talk to us about our upcoming Jubilee. And we also may have representatives from New Birth Church. They may be here to ask us questions regarding a filming permit. So we're asking for those additions to the announcements portion of our agenda. And we also will have an executive session tonight that we'd like to add sometime during the attorney's report. We're adding that as well. So with those additions, is there a motion to accept our agenda with those necessary additions? All right, I think I got Councilman Johnson first. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, it's been seconded by Councilwoman James. Please allow the record to reflect that it was moved by Councilman Johnson, properly seconded by Councilwoman James to approve our agenda for the evening with those necessary additions. Are we ready, for the question? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
President Young,
Yes?
Councilman Harville,
Yes.
Councilwoman Christie Thomas, Councilman Carmichael,
Yes.
Councilwoman James,
Yes.
Councilman Randolph, Councilman Jemison,
Yes.
Councilwoman Jamie Thomas,
Yes.
Councilman Johnson.
Yes. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Thank you, Council. This time, please turn your attention to our consent agenda for the evening. There are a total of 4 items on our consent agenda up for your approval. Item number 1, to approve resolution 131-21/22 for Public Works to accept vehicle gifts from Community Action Agency Dallas Selma. Item number 2, to approve Bandy elevator contract. Item number 3, to approve resolution R-136-21/22, declaration of surplus of unneeded property for the cemetery department. And then item number 4, to approve a joint venture agreement between Dallas County, Alabama and the city of Selma. Are there any questions regarding our consent agenda for the evening? If no questions, is there a motion to approve our consent agenda for the evening?
I don't think I got.
Okay.
All right, is there a second? Please allow me to reflect it was moved by Councilman Carmichael
I didn't say
and properly
that.
seconded by Councilman Johnson to approve our consent agenda for Tuesday, January 25th, 2022. Are we ready for the question? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Point of record, President Young is, resolution 134-21/22 to reappoint the members of the personnel board.
That is not on there. I think that was old, this was a revive.
Okay,
Yes,
thank you. President Young,
Yes.
okay, thank you. Councilman Harville.
Yes.
Councilwoman Christie Thomas,
Yes.
Councilman Carmichael.
Yes.
Councilwoman James.
Yes.
Councilman Randolph, Councilman Jemison,
Yes.
Councilwoman Jamie Thomas,
Yes.
Councilman Johnson.
Yes. Thank you very much, Council, for your votes. We'll now move on to the approval of our council meeting minutes. And we're gonna ask that our clerk please perform that portion of our agenda.
Good evening again, council. You should have before you the minutes of January 11, 2022. These minutes are before you for your consideration and approval. Are there any questions or changes?
All right, thank you, Madam Clerk. Council, you have before you the minutes from our last meeting, January 11, 2022. Are there any additions, corrections, or deletions? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve said minutes? Is there a second? Please allow the minister to reflect that it was moved by Councilman Johnson and properly seconded by Councilman Jemison to approve our minutes from our last meeting. Are we ready for the question? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
President Young.
Yes.
Councilman Harville.
Yes.
Councilwoman Christie Thomas.
Yes.
Councilman Carmichael.
Yes.
Councilwoman James.
Yes.
Councilman Randolph. Councilman Jemison.
Yes.
Councilwoman Jamie Thomas.
Yes.
Councilman Johnson.
Yes. Thank you, Council, for your votes. We'll now move on to the announcements portion of our agenda. We're asking that all speakers remember only 3 to 5 minutes. We have a lengthy agenda tonight, so we're reminding everyone to please speak for only 3 to 5 minutes. And we'll start first with our very own Councilman Johnson for a special presentation.
I'm sorry. So the mayor is, they're gonna be done doing the mayor report.
All right. Okay, thank you. Yes, sir. Now let's move on to our next speaker for the evening, Dr. Suzanne Judd, and she's here from UAB Rural Park and London State.
Yeah, this microphone right here, is that?
I think it's
You
one of
can,
those
you can
things.
take over the phone.
Okay.
I just want to-
Thank you. Thanks y'all for having me here today. My name is Suzanne Judd. I work at UAB. I'm an epidemiologist, and prior to COVID, I don't think anybody knew what an epidemiologist did, but basically we study diseases, all kinds of diseases, heart disease, COVID, you name it. Well, as it turns out, we got some money from the federal government to study rural counties in the South, because the Southeast is really underrepresented in research. A lot of research comes out of California, the Northeast, but the Southeast, we don't have a ton of research. And so we're funded to look at folks in rural counties and understand heart and lung disease. The rates of heart and lung disease here in Dallas County are among the highest in the nation. And one of the things we're trying to understand is why is that? Is it environmental factors? Is it diet? Is it, access to different restaurants and foods? We don't know, but that's one of the things we're here to look at. We have a truck sitting over on 22. If anybody's interested in a tour, we would be delighted to have you come take a tour of it. We're recruiting folks that are age 25 to 65, although we're really heavily recruiting 25 to 45 because we're really interested in the younger folks and what's going on in those younger years. But if you're interested, it's about a 3.5-hour visit. The payment for participating in the study is about $175. It comes with a cell phone if you want a cell phone, or you're welcome to use your own cell phone because we do a lot of questions on the phone and a Fitbit as well, so to track your steps and your activity. So lots of things. I know that's a lot in just 3 minutes, but we would love to have you participate in the study if you're interested. David right here has all kinds of bags if anybody wants any additional information. And if you just have questions, know that you can come to us and ask.
Great, thank you. Council, any questions? All right, just want to commend you for the work that you're doing. We are well aware of the health disparities in this community. Some are systematic. Unfortunately, years of mistreatment. So we thank you for conducting this study here. If there's any other way that we can help you with that, please let us know.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Now, let's move on to our next speaker, Mr. Walker, here from the Voting Rights Museum, and he's here to discuss our upcoming Jubilee. Welcome, Mr. Walker.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Let me say Happy New Year to all of those I haven't seen this year so far.
Happy New Year.
Yes. Okay, we know the annual Red Carpet Jubilee is coming up. The Jubilee is going to be March 3rd through March 6th of this year, and the Jubilee Committee is requesting the same support that we've gotten over the last 2 years from the City Council. We didn't have the regular event last year. We had a virtual event last year, but 2019 and 2020, the council allowed us to use the Evans Building, the amphitheater, and the convention center. We know the convention center is out of commission right now, it's not usable, but those other 2 buildings, the council have allowed us to use those buildings. They waived the fees on those, the rental fees on those buildings for those 2 days, Saturday and Sunday, which will be March 5th and March 6th. So that's my first request, that the council continue to waive those fees and allow us to use those 2 facilities, the amphitheater and the Evans Building for March 5th and 6th. The
Readmission,
I'm sorry.
readmission.
Oh, yeah. Now, the streets that we use are going to be the same streets that we used in the past, from corner of Ward Avenue to Broad Street, down Ward Avenue to Long Street, and the Cross Street, Western Street, Alabama, Franklin Street, Alabama, Green Street, Alabama, and we use those same areas to block out. I met with the St. James Hotel yesterday and worked out an agreement with them so that they have their access to their guests, be able to get in and out of the hotel without anybody stopping them. So we already got that worked out for them. So that shouldn't be a problem. Now we are this year, because we're just now trying to get back on track. We're gonna have free admission on Saturday, and if you come to the festival on Saturday, you can pick up an off band that will also allow you free admission on Sunday. But if you don't come on Saturday, you show up Sunday without the arm band, that's going to be a $10 admission fee on Sunday because we have a special gospel concert. But if you come on Saturday, get the arm band, you don't have to pay for the gospel concert on Sunday, that'll be free also. So, and now because we just get back up and running, we was trying to get our business to come back. We were down on business for the last couple of years, but we're trying to get them to come back in. And so we're going to be working with them. Now we're going to ask, I know the city has started collecting a general fee from the city. I want to see if we can consider waiving that fee for this year as we rebuild our clientele. Then, I'm hoping in 50 years we can work with the city to be able to figure out a way to be able to collect that fee. you know, and without any problem, we do need some help trying to get our clientele rebuilt, having people participate. That's why we're doing the pre-event for the weekend. Now, we're gonna have a wellness village for health care events. We're gonna have vaccine, administer vaccine, we'll also be administering COVID tests. So we're gonna try to, you know, do whatever we can to help the community. And so we're gonna be giving reduced rates for those that they want to pay the full price for one that's gonna be doing those wellness tents, wellness spots. So that's why we ask that we can waive the city's fees for this year, and then hopefully get things back on track next year. We work more closely next year. And the last couple things is, you know, 2020, I came before y'all and asked if you stop the vendors that don't set up inside the festival, set up and down Broad Street and up and down all those other streets, and don't be part of the festival, but they still be out selling stuff. So I think we did a pretty good job in 2020 of trying to control some of that. We want you to go ahead and see if we can do that again, try to control those folks just setting up all over the city without having to go through the process of being a part of the festival. And also we have people that just pull up with their car and have stuff in the trunk of the car, they get out and just walk up and down the street selling stuff without any accountability. So we want you to also see if we can do anything about that and try to make sure that people participate, that they come to the festival. That's what the festival is for. People come in and participate. I've already turned in my application to the police department for what streets and all the things that we're gonna need from the Selma Police Department. So they had that application already on file over there. So if anybody needs any information, get that information from the police department from the application I turned in. Are there any questions?
Yeah, you know, I talked to you back, you know, I guess, about Brown.
Right, okay.
You know, then, possibly getting renovated, and then real strong, on church base with you and committed about, can they work together with you all, with the advocate of, the youth service of Sunday, and, have anybody got back to you?
No, you know, when we talked, that's what he was supposed to have called me. But to this day, I hadn't heard from him, so I didn't know if he was still pursuing that idea.
He did call me, we're gonna work that. He did call me, we're gonna work that.
Okay, yeah, I never heard.
We need to try to find some security area because we got a lot of politicians.
Right,
here.
right.
And if it didn't work out with you all, we're gonna try to do it as far as soon as possible, which that's what we got. But if we can work it out, I appreciate it. Okay, thank you.
Okay, no problem. Any other questions, please?
Yes, I got one question. With big event, that's going on now, is there any kind of protocol in place for the COVID? Are you all doing any kind of, active?
We asking that people be vaccinated, but we gotta pretty much go on there on them. You know, we don't, at this time, we don't have the personnel to actually check folks to see if they got their vaccination card, but we are asking, we're gonna be making public announcements, asking people that they be vaccinated when they attend the event.
Okay.
Any other questions, council? Any other questions? Well, personally, though, I'm glad to see Jubilee coming back. And I think all of us probably glad to see that come back, because it means a lot to us, and we appreciate the work that you're doing in the Voting Rights Museum. For those things that you wanted us to vote on, if you just write those down, I will bring those up under new business, and we can get those voted on.
Okay, I already have them, I'll bring you a copy of it.
Okay, perfect.
Last thing is that, we ought to be doing the actual Selma to Montgomery March reenactment this year. Because of the events that's around the voting rights bill of the Congress, there's no activities going on in the Congress. We want to try to spur some information, some interest in those bills. So we're going to cross the bridge on Sunday, March 6th, but then we're going to be walking from March 7th through March 11th back to Montgomery, and we're going to have a rally on the steps of the Capitol on March 11th at 11 a.m. on March 11th. That's Friday, March 11th. So people that want to be involved with that, can I invite people to come out and be a part of that, but we're going to do that whole entire walk from Selma to Montgomery.
Thank you so much. We appreciate your work. Thank you. All right. Are there any representatives from New Birth Church here? Any representatives from New Birth Church? All right, we'll just take that up, council. That was the document that Ms. Ellison sent to us regarding film permit. And we need to take action on that soon because they're scheduled, I think, February the 6th. So that'll be before we meet again. Yeah, that'll be before our meeting. So we have to take some type of action on that early. He does have to bring. Okay, great. All right, with that said, we thank everyone for the announcements and also for whatever our citizens' concerns are. This time we'll move on to our mayor's report. I didn't speak it on that, Ms. Ellison. Did we have something from attorney to be on the agenda for tonight?
I don't know what happened. I'll just be on the next agenda.
Okay, I'm so sorry. I didn't know. Okay.
I had Mr. Office in his own way.
Okay. Well, we're sorry. We'll correct whatever needs to be corrected. Thank you. Thank you. Good evening, Mayor Perkins.
Good evening.
All right.
Everybody doing all right?
Doing great.
Good. Councilman, you want to do this first? No, you got to do it. And anyone else who chooses to. During the, well, on more than one occasion, all in one restaurant has been very supportive of the city by providing meals for our employees. Councilman Johnson is saying, but we'd like to cover you all to come forward, representing all in one. That family, favors up here. It's a historic moment. Come on. There you go. You and Mr. Lee Green's karate class. I hear you. I want to just acknowledge your support of the city and its employees, especially during the luncheon. This flag reads the city, the Selma City Council and Mayor James Perkins Jr. presents this token of appreciation to all in one restaurant in recognition of your unwavering support and partnership in preparing a Christmas luncheon for all the city of Selma employees, presented by Councilman Michael Johnson. Would you join us for the photo, please, Councilman? We want to say congratulations to you. Oh, grab that, my man. There you go. There you go.
Yeah, we'll get one more. Count for 1, 2, 3. Yeah. All right.
All right. Congratulations. And y'all know they can cook, huh? Good. Thank you so much. At this time, I was in route, so I missed the consent agenda list. Let's see what I need to take off. Hopefully everything. The resolution, let's see, 131. That's your, all of these are yours. So they didn't do me that. They didn't do me that. Wow. Okay, well let's work it. My report, the zero turn more. Henry Hicks, Director of Public Works. You recall there was a question about the amount in the purchase order during the work session, and we agreed to resolve that question during the meeting. That issue was addressed, and so the corrected amounts are in the budget, and the unencumbered before this order numbers are in the right place. So we ask council for favorable consideration for these two items. I'm going to ask that there be 2 votes. One for the budget amendment, third page in that item. The amendment of budget, count number 16200511038. Auto fuel is the from account of $20,000. The two accounts are small tools purchase, account number 16200516660, which was budgeted at 10,000. The current balance of the account is $5,233. The transfer amount is $20,000. We're asking for favorable consideration of this transfer of funds.
Okay. All right, council, we heard the recommendation coming from the mayor for a transfer amount of $20,000 from account 16200511038 to account number 16200516660. Is there a motion to approve said recommendation? Is there a second? Second. Please allow the minister to reflect that it was moved by Councilman Johnson and properly seconded by Councilman Jemison to approve said recommendation. Are we ready for the question? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
President Young.
Yes.
Councilman Harville.
Yes.
Councilwoman Christie Thomas.
Yes.
Councilman Carmichael.
Yes.
Councilwoman James.
Yes.
Councilman Randolph. Councilman Jemison.
Yes.
Councilwoman Janie Thomas.
Oh, thank you.
Councilman Johnson.
Thank you.
Yes. I heard those crickets. The next item, did you want to give her an opportunity to vote? I didn't hear it. I just.
Councilwoman Thomas, would you like to vote on that recommendation?
Thank you.
Thank you. The next request for vote would be for the purchase order itself. Note at the bottom of the purchase order, the budgeted amount is now $30,000. It was initially 10, 20,000 was moved. So now the budgeted amount will be 30,000. The cost of this purchase is $24,648.50. The unencumbered amount would be the amount that was in the budget. The current amount of the budget, which was the $5,233. And then, so that would leave the unencumbered amount in that budget line item prior to the expenditure of $25,114.95. And this purchase order is in the amount of $24,648.30. We ask for your favorable consideration for the purchase of these items.
All right, council, is there a motion to approve the purchase order as stated by Mayor Perkins in the amount of $24,648.30? Is there a second?
Second.
Please allow Mr. Reflect, it was moved by Councilman Johnson, properly seconded by Councilwoman James to approve said purchase order. Are we ready for the question? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
President Young.
Yes.
Councilman Harville.
Yes.
Councilwoman Christie Thomas. Councilman Carmichael.
Yes.
Councilwoman James.
Yes.
Councilman Randolph. Councilman Jemison.
Yes.
Councilwoman Janie Thomas.
Yes.
Councilman Johnson.
Yes.
Thank you, council.
Thank you, council. Item number 2 on the mayor's report tonight will be the $5,000 duplicate for department spending. I am simply leaving that on ceremonially in hopes that one night council person is going to say, Mayor, we reconsider. But we're going to continue to move on item number 3, 10% restriction on the interdepartmental fund transfer. Resolution number R-137-21-22 would suggest to the council that the resolution numbers have changed and the content of those 2 resolutions have changed. There has been some amendments, some updates to it to hopefully bring us closer together in resolving these issues. I would ask that you would give those 2 resolutions consideration after, I'm sure, some additional discussion. Thank you. The citywide camera system is on the agenda to make sure that it stays in our forefront. I know that we'll continue to have discussions in the Public Safety Committee. We are working through that. I want to thank Council President Young and Councilman Carmichael for the discussions that we've had. I did prepare my questions. I will be sending them through the email thread that we did agree upon. Hopefully you will have the same, they can get those questions to the attorneys this week.
To you, sir.
Excellent, thank you. Finally, a couple of items did come up. These are grant opportunities for the city. They came up quick, fast, and in a hurry. Planning Development Office has been very busy, and so I'm asking if the council would that we would take our time and go through these resolutions. One is R 144 -2122. Ms. Wooten is available to provide an explanation and discussions for these two resolutions. These are important, and it's not obligations of the city. This is opportunities for us to get some money. Ms. Wooten, you may go ahead and present. Thank you.
Good evening, members of the council.
Good evening, Ms. Wu. It was in the mayor's report, the update report that was sent today. You haven't received it yet?
Is that the resolutions that you didn't see?
These new resolutions, it's on today's report. I got it. Okay. Well, Ms. Wu, can you go ahead and talk on those, and we'll try to get everybody a copy who wants to see it.
Yes, sir, absolutely. The first resolution you have before you is resolution R 144/2122, and it's authorization to submit a pre-application to the Alabama Department of Environmental Management American Rescue Plan Act funding program. And this one in particular is for stormwater and drainage projects throughout the city of Selma. And so it says, whereas the city of Selma desires to submit a pre-application to ADEM for stormwater and drainage projects, the city has solicited cost estimates and a preliminary engineering report from professional consulting engineer firm, and has determined that adequate staff and expertise are in place to prepare the stated pre-application. The pre-application will be reviewed for potential funding awards to localities rating the highest in the rating criteria, and the cost of the project is estimated at an amount not to exceed $25 million in federal funds through the American Rescue Plan, with no anticipated cash match by the city in this pre-application phase. So basically what we have is that ADEM has been informed that they will be receiving ARPA funds, and they are asking municipalities to submit a pre-application. Once you submit the pre-application at a later date, I guess they will determine which municipalities rank the highest, and then at that point we will have to submit an actual application. But at this time, it's just a pre-application, and this resolution is just for stormwater and drainage. And what we're submitting is based on the assessment that was completed by Goodwin Mills and Kaywood.
All right, thank you, Ms. Wu. Council, does everyone who wants to see it, are they able to see it?
We can see it now.
You can see it now? Okay, all right. All right, Council Carmichael.
This is, the plan that Goodwood did back in 2017 or something for the drainage around the city. Is that right?
Yes. So Goodwin Mills and Kaywood, their team has been frantically working since Friday. So they are taking that study as the basis, but they're updating the cost estimates because, of course, we know that the pricing has increased since that time. So they will have a finalized cost estimate and preliminary engineering report to us, but the deadline to submit the pre-application is February the 1st.
Thank y'all for going after this. I appreciate it.
Any other questions?
I want to say something.
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to say this, Ms. Wood, I thank you for bringing this, because this gives the other parts of the city and areas that are having storm drain problems. I hope that we be able to help the city.
Anything else?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be really good, Mr. President, because with the water work, water grants and the city work, rain problem down in the whole city, so yeah, we need to move forward with this.
All right. Just gonna say one word. Great. With that said, is there a motion to approve? All right. Is there a second? All right, please allow the minutes to reflect that was moved by Councilman Johnson and properly seconded by Councilman Carmichael to approve resolution R 144/21/22, authorization to submit a pre-application to the Alabama Department of Environmental Management American Rescue Plan Act funding program for stormwater and drainage projects throughout the city of Selma. Are we ready for the question? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
President Young,
Yes.
Councilman Harville.
Yes.
Councilwoman Christie Thomas.
Yes.
Councilman Carmichael.
Yes.
Councilwoman James.
Yes.
Councilman Randolph. Councilman Jimmison.
Yes.
Councilwoman Jamie Thomas.
Okay, can I ask you a question, Ms. Wu?
Yes, ma'am.
After this grant come back, or will it be that we'll have to match anything?
No, ma'am. There is no anticipated cash match, but once we get to the phase, if we're allowed to submit an application, then we will bring that back to you guys with all the details at that time.
Your vote is
Your vote, Councilwoman Thomas, yes or no?
Yes.
Councilman Johnson.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Resolution number 145, Ms. Wood.
Again, you have resolution R-145, which is basically the same situation. This is ARPA funding through ADEM. This grant application in particular is for sanitary sewer projects throughout the city of Selma. And so we would just ask for your favorable vote. Again, it's the same situation. There is no anticipated cash match at this time. This is just a pre-application, and it's in an amount not to exceed 25 million as well.
All right, thank you. Is there a motion to approve said resolution? All right, got Councilman Carmichael. All right, executive by Councilman Johnson to approve resolution R-145-21/22, authorization to submit a pre-application, the Alabama Department of Environmental Management American Rescue Plan Act funding program for sanitary sewer projects throughout the city of Selma. Are we ready for the question? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
President Young.
Yes.
Councilman Harville.
Yes.
Councilwoman Christie Thomas.
Yes.
Councilman Carmichael.
Yes.
Councilwoman James.
Yes.
Councilman Randolph. Councilman Jimmison.
Yes.
Councilwoman Jamie Thomas.
Yes.
Councilman Johnson.
Yes.
Thank you, Council.
Thank you, Council. I appreciate the resolutions submitted by admin through the city attorney's office, especially appreciate and like the fact that we are moving forward together on this recreation teaming arrangement between the county and the city, and looking forward to working on that. At this time, in terms of COVID report, I don't know, I didn't want to do a lot of. Yes, okay, please.
Good evening, council. I just wanted to basically say this evening that we are still in high red and that we should be very cautious and remember to wear our masks and as much as possible, maintain a 6 feet distance. At this particular time, we do have a total of 218 deaths since 2020. And as of 2022, we are reporting 2 deaths. We have 7,314 cases. Please be careful right now at this particular time. We know that our city is rampant with the new Omicron COVID virus. And we at City Hall and across the city are actually suffering also. So we offer our prayers to each and every individual who's having to face this and their families. Thank you. And that's my report, Mayor.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am, Councilwoman.
The mayor, I just want to say before you have a seat and before Danielle and all of them get off, I just want to say thank you all. The mayor was invited to speak with us at the Rotary Club on Monday. He did not do his address. He let 3 department heads come in and speak, Ms. Woolton, Mr. Roper, and Mr. Hendrick. And I'm very proud to say, I am glad there are employees of Selma City, not Selma City, I'm sorry, the city of Selma. They really, really did an awesome job explaining the things that's going on in the city. And when they left, everybody that was just amazed that the city is thriving like it is. They see the difference. And they did a superb job. Thank you, Mayor, for bringing it to the Selma Rotary Club on Monday.
You're welcome. Thank you, Councilwoman. And I would, since she has mentioned that was one need that as soon as we get this budget cleared up, and I'm looking forward to council receiving a report from Ms. Smith this evening. We are close, we're not quite there yet, but in terms of the presentation of a ready budget, we're gonna have a couple more meetings, but we are very close. But one of the things I would like to see added to this budget is a public relations office for the city of Selma. We need a PR person. I celebrate what I see the Selma City School System doing. And the reason we celebrate it is because we see them. Their public relations office, Ms. Washington, she makes certain that the city sees the Selma City School System. The same thing with Bond Regional Hospital. They have a public relations office, a college graduate third, and they make certain that they are seen because they have someone who's telling the story. And so I would really value that if we can just take a look at that. Once this budget stuff settles down and we see that we do have the capacity to do that, I would like for us to consider that. My final comment right now would be to just present the treasurer, Ms. Tara Smith, to come forward. Thank you, council. Do you have any questions?
Yeah, one thing.
Yes, sir.
Advancing on number 2, the 5,000. So eventually we need to touch that. So hopefully the next company will do it. The bigger thing is we're just trying to make sure we give the department head to go ahead and spend $5,000 if it's in the budget. And then we'll come back before the council and let them know what they did, blah, 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 blah.
Well, the issue is this. The council has appointed an excellent treasurer.
Right.
The council will approve the budget. The council will have to approve every contract. The council will have an opportunity to get a monthly report of everything that's spent every month, prepared by the treasurer that you appointed. And so the question then becomes, why is it that the administration needs to come to the council before it spends money that's already approved to be spent by the council? And that's the question we're hoping, what I recognize and the reason I didn't stop addressing this issue, I just slowed down. I went back to first gear, just kind of take it easy, put the cruise on and just kind of take it easy. And the reason I did that is because I really see these two issues as issues of trust. And I can't force the council to trust me as leader. I can't force the council to trust the department heads. I can't force you to trust the treasurer that you appointed. What I can do is continue to bring these issues to the forefront and ask you every time we get an opportunity to see each other, have we not earned your trust yet? Thank you.
I feel like this for the last administration. Yeah. Every mayor, even yourself in the previous 2 terms you did, wasn't like this.
I understand.
The council from the last administration select you done this.
I understand.
And it's really sad that we bring it to the present mayor now.
I understand.
But like I said, I hope and pray that we can, this council can go ahead and look this over and realize this ain't the same administration from last term.
That's right.
So, we can't keep dancing over the focus between now and next council meeting. We need to take a vote on this. I think after the years of it home, show us and work with us on getting everything down to the penny. Right. Council, please, don't do this to this mayor on what happened to the last mayor in the last council. But I want to say this.
Know how the legislative gap, sets for the legislative body when it comes to the fact. And state example, they put in an alignment of everything that the legislative body that controls the family. They requested that immediately that this body of this legislative branch come put something in place on spending. And it's a guideline, it's not about, if you are in the executive branch, and we are in the legislative branch, would give us control to make sure that finance is being spent or keeping the date up to where things are being accountable. Like you said, we have a treasurer. Sure enough, we have a new treasurer that you're saying in place that we should, well, trust that she would give us a straight up finance report. But we have a job to do too, just like you have a job to do too, to make sure that things are put according to the legislature required of the legislative branch to operate on. It's not about that we don't trust you or we don't trust nobody. That's the purpose of us going to training, to know that according to the legislative rules guidelines, that the duty of the legislative body to require both finance, property, ordinance, resolution, or anything to make sure that we are doing the right thing. It's not about who trusts who trusts not. It's about doing according to the way the guidelines that the legislature put in document in black and white for us to go by. And let me finish. And some people might not take the training ability and the law abilities that require of the legislative body to guide, to do what we're supposed to do. State exam report be coming up again. We have to do like they do again, a final exam report. Unless we ask, we brought BMS in here to put policies and things in place that we spend money on to make sure that things are done right. So my thing is this here. I speak on well, people might not like it, but I go by the book and what I go to the training to require us as a legislative body up here. It's easy for us to say, well, Mayor, we trust you, we do this, but we are here to do what we're supposed to do.
Okay,
That's all I have.
let's go Councilman James and then Councilman Johnson.
I do understand exactly what is going on. I understand the rules and regulations that you're supposed to do. But in the midst of all of it, when the vote came in for the 5,000, we came back less than 2 weeks and a bit spending within our department. We came right back in 2 weeks. So it's not that, just like we said that 5,000, we are not here to judge nobody. You have a treasurer, you have everybody in place to give you your figures. No, the auditors cannot do anything about us revoting this. The only thing auditors gonna do is watch what we do, to spend it. If we approve them to spend over 5,000, as long as those receipts match those invoices, we are good. So I'm along with Councilman Johnson. We need to stop the loan and different things to make the city go forward. That's my opinion. We should move forward because we keep going backwards on what this said and that said. It's time to move the city forward. We're trying to get a new Selma. We can't go on the old Selma that people have been trying to go on. We need to move the city forward. These people coming back every week asking us to give them this and give them that. The money is in there for them to do what they got to do. This is one for a conversation tonight, but Councilman Johnson brought it up. And I say, I'm with Councilman Johnson. If we cannot allow these people to do what they got to do, when they need to do it, we're gonna get every nickel, dime, penny that's on the report. It's up to you as a council person to look at all the fine lines, and stuff, and you know what? Bring it up. Bring it back and say, this is not correct. Who spent that? Who spent that? Nobody up there wanna go to jail. Nobody. But we don't need to be sitting here every week trying to see what we're gonna let them folks do what they gotta do. This is the problem now. We've been in office the whole year. We still dealing with things that we first got in office.
All right, Councilman Johnson.
I always hear council people always out here talking all the time to do the right thing. The right thing is when we are budgeting set for the departments, and they got a certain amount of money in that department, they should be able to use it the way they see fit, as long as within the right thing. We got our administration, So make sure that there's anything on the line, and not like the police, I went to a treasurer in the past, she made sure everything was like it's supposed to be done. She called the council president and let us know when something out of the way. All of this was taking place because of a bad administration between the council and the previous mayor, going back and forth with each other. And what we see, like we're going through now, is like the same administration from last time. And I think everybody up here for this reason, make things a lot better. And like I told you, I said, every year is the time. And it took the power from don't hold your head down there. And I hope and pray this council don't be like the council back in the before. I was there with the public definition. And some of these councils sitting on them now, names was forward about something they did wrong. They ain't said nothing about money. So my concern now is, if we do a budget and each department has a certain amount of money in their department, and the $5,000 that they do, we can put on the floor, as long as the council knows what they did and look at it, we always can take it back from them. We can give them the power to do this. And we see if they misuse or mismanage, then we go for that. Mr. President, I'm going to 10 years, some of y'all been on 20 years. And know all and everything. All I'm asking is give this administration the opportunity to at least show us and let's move forward.
I can make my closing response to all of this in 1 minute. President Young. We paid for a bond to cover the risk of mismanagement. I want to quote a Republican president. That's right, Councilman, where he said, trust but verify. And so I'm asking you to trust us and verify that we've done the right thing every month when we give you those reports. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Council, we have the mayor's report, and we can proceed now with our next item, which I think is our treasury report. Good evening.
Okay, as the mayor alluded to earlier, I've been putting the budget in, I've seen some issues. Thus, also, I've been working with the monies that Mr. Williams Scott said that he would be able to help the person in the rescue fund. We need to have another work session on that.
She's to you too.
Okay, can you guys hear me? Okay. Okay.
No.
We do need to have another work session on the budget, because like I said earlier, the budget that you guys approved, we have found two issues we need to discuss. Also, we need to also come to a decision about how to allocate the money from the American Rescue Plan that Mr. William Scott approved for as a reimbursement that we will be able to spend. We need to also go over that. And also, do you have, is there any questions? My question.
No question?
I guess I have. I guess it's I did not see this document from Mr. Scott, and I guess is everybody just seeing it for the first time? Okay, he prepared it on I see a date of 24. So I'm assuming that's when he prepared it. Okay, so essentially, he's recommending that we reimburse the general fund for fire department salaries, police department salaries, and some cleaning items. Do qualify as acceptable use of the ARP funds. Is there any reason why we shouldn't vote on this tonight? Can we do that? Can we,
Get with the attorney and shift it in resolution forward and then bring it back for us. He's talking about the letter from Mr. William Scott recommending what we should do with the American Rescue Plan Fund. And we've been told that it has to be done in the form of resolution.
Yes.
Per our training. So if you can get with the finance chairman, he can give you that information, you can go ahead and act on
Be glad to.
it. I don't think anyone disagrees. All right, any other questions?
I do have a procedural question. When these funds, so essentially what we're gonna do is we've done 1.6 million back into the general fund. Are there restrictions on using these, and let me tell you where, let me just tell you where, we have public building need, Monday night. We've got, and I'm just going to throw a number, it may be right, it may not be right, I know $400,000 for repairs that we need to make on public buildings. What I expressed was, for every day we wait, these buildings are getting in worse shape. We're going to have to repair these buildings. The longer we wait, the worse it's going to get. We're dumping 1.6 back into our general fund. I think we need to go ahead and discuss approving these funds to make the repairs that we have listed on these public buildings. And let's get this off of one. It's another budget item. We can get that done. I don't know what the correct form is. Talk about that.
The great news that Mr. Scott shared with us was that it would be unrestricted. That was what made me cheer, because that meant that we can, for instance, get new carpet for City Hall with the money. And so it's really, really good news. And I agree. I think we can go ahead and get that off the plate. So we get this in a resolution form. You get us a work session together for finance and just go ahead and knock this off.
It will be unrestricted, but every transaction.
So the 1.6 is just going to go back into our general fund.
That's right.
And we can use it
The way you
the
want.
way we.
That's right. The only, there are two steps, and you're right. One is those first responder salaries are allowable expenses. So all the way back to March 3rd, we can recover those funds. That number 1.6 or whatever that is, those monies we have already spent, so we can reimburse the city's general fund for those monies. Once they are reimbursed, Mr. Scott also made a second recommendation, and that is, once we move them to the general fund, that we continue to track how we actually spend the money. It is not for qualifying purposes. It is just for accounting purposes. So that at the point of audit, we can actually show where those monies were actually spent, even though they were pre-qualified to be spent. So it was just an extra step.
The legality of this is great because we've already spent the money.
That's right.
On salary. So it's legal to now be reimbursed for what we spent.
That's right.
Because per American Rescue Plan Fund, you can use it for these salaries. So this is when we can take that breath and say, nobody's going to jail.
That's right.
Okay, so that's why we need to go ahead. We've already made the expense. We put the money back. And then, as the mayor stated, and Councilman Martin and the treasurer, then we can go spend on things like the carpet and City Hall. But then, like he said, for accounting, which is good, so that when the state examiners come in, they can see, oh wow, they put in even an extra step that they didn't have to. We're not required to do this per American Rescue Plan. We meet the requirements for American Rescue Plan when we reimburse ourselves for expenditures on money that is allowed under the law. But for tracking purposes for the state, when they come in and do their audit, that's another plus, another feather in the cap to show City of Selma has a grip on its finance. All right? It's good, it's good, it's good. Okay, all right. Any other questions for our treasurer? Any other questions?
I think we got a year-end report.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Thank you very much.
And thank you, Mayor, as well. Thank you, everybody. All right. Next.
One question, that is unaudited.
Excellent. Thank you for that point of clarification as well. All right, now let's pick up our attorney's report. And Mr. Attorney, I looked at your report. Several of the items have been approved. And I think a couple of them we got to do executive, talk about in executive session. But I'm following you as you present.
I know one of them for sure, I think, I want to 7 years ago. Item number 1 on my report from January 11th, also January 20th. Item number 2, I believe Councilman Carmichael asked for some additional research on item number 2. See, item number 3 was passed on your consent agenda. Item number 4 is the resolution for personnel board appointments R-134-21/22.
Go ahead.
I think we just didn't have a second page on that.
That's correct. That's correct. And the second page revealed a question, an answer to a question I believe Councilwoman James Thomas asked. One of it was either Councilwoman Thomas or you about staggered terms. The first board member's term was set at a year to be reappointed upon approval by the council. The second board member's term was set at 2 years with the opportunity to be reappointed. That was evidence of the staggering of those terms. But then you're right, the second case was that, so you couldn't know that, and I don't want to make it up as I went along. But I'm saying that resolution R-134-21/22, resolution to reappoint members to the personnel board for your consideration and approval.
So, all right, before us was resolution R-134-21/22, and that's concerning the personnel board appointments. I don't know if you all remember, but the last time we placed individuals on personnel board, we took it through the administrative committee. We took the recommendations and we had an administrative committee meeting on it, and it moved fairly fast. And so my belief is we're also trying to create some structure here. And you create precedent so you have something to go by. So it's just my recommendation. I'm not against it. I would just like for it to go through the committee like we've been doing, and that's what we've been building on. So is there any objection from anyone if we just place this in the committee for administrative and then bring it back?
How dire of need is this? Is it, can the personnel board still operate without, you don't have any?
Yes, they are. There are 5 members with 2 of them.
And they just serve until someone places, so they can still serve in capacity. So is there any objection with placing this? All right, so there's no objection, move on with the next attorney.
Item number 5 was passed on the consent agenda, resolution 136-21/22.
Mr. Attorney, can you go back? Did we do something on item number 2, the resolution R-142, city seal?
That's the resolution I pointed out. Councilman Carmichael asked for some additional research.
Okay, so we need, okay.
He asked for, I believe,
Yes, sir. Yeah, we were looking for, in order to adopt that one, we need a resolution showing that we've been originally adopted. What's currently.
there was plenty of discussion, but you want Councilman Carmichael asked for more
Documentation, okay. All right, I just want to get it clear, okay.
I didn't gloss over it, I just didn't want to dwell on it.
Okay.
I didn't think we were going to consider it.
That's right, okay, we'll come back.
Item number 6, resolution R-132-21/22, personnel action, Troy Harris, and I think, Mr. Council President, are you asking about this item?
Yeah, that's one of them we want to take up. Yes, sir.
Item number 7, ordinance O-101-21/22, COVID-19 personnel procedure. This ordinance was presented for your deliberation at the work session. The ordinance was the particular facet of the ordinance that got questioned by Councilwoman Thomas was concerning a maximum number of days for someone being out sick. Well, the number of days someone's been out sick, and the mayor pointed out, rightly so, he would ask me, let me see the ordinance. He went back and looked at it, I went back and looked at it. It doesn't require or force anyone to be out a certain number of days. We were trying to establish a maximum number of days for which other facets of the personnel sick leave plan would kick in for purposes specifically, mainly of COVID. There's federal legislation now. We talked about the state and the states in flux on some of the things they're doing. We also talked about briefly FMLA and sick leave. What we're trying to do is fashion a tool as a policy in this ordinance to allow people to be off sick and get paid the way they want to after they take a certain number of days. We're not trying to restrict, we're trying to enlarge or expand the scope of people's options when it comes to being off work. That's what they are.
And I think as the mayor stated, it's not we're saying they get 10 days of leave, it's a maximum of, so up to that amount.
Up to.
That's what gave me a house. Councilwoman Thomas.
I would like to recommend this here to the legislative branch. With this ordinance that you bring before us to vote, I read through it and also I wanted to say this here. Due to the pandemic that we have, since we were putting our policies and stuff in place, and we're gonna be dealing with COVID for a minute. I'm comfortable that if we were to put this, because it falls up under this personnel manual. What you bringing to us as common is a part of the personnel manual, personnel management, because of the staff, the way you're saying, for the sick, the time being off. And then we're dealing with a COVID right now. We don't have anything in our personnel management. But and instead of us doing, I think we need to have it put into our, include in our personnel management.
Well, the orders was drafted in conjunction with the personnel director. It was actually her taking the lead, and I just put it in writing and presented to you, as well as in consultation with the mayor. So there have been 3 of us at a minimum consulting on this. Are you asking that the ordinance be changed to a personnel policy instead of an ordinance?
No, what I'm saying is, we're voting, you're asking us to vote on this ordinance.
Yes.
And, it relates to our personnel management. The
Yes.
time of, even dealing with sick time off, that's already in here. And my thing is, I'm saying that since we're gonna be dealing with this for a minute, we've been dealing with it for the last, 2 years, going into the 3rd year. Why, instead of us doing in ordinance, because we are giving, we're also gonna be paying them for that time off. And I'm just reading why I asked you that.
The mayor was making a point that it requires an ordinance to change the mandate.
So it would require an ordinance to modify it. So you don't want it to not be an ordinance. You want it to be an ordinance, but what we can do is include the language to make certain that it's clear that this ordinance, this approved ordinance does in fact to be applied or modified to personnel policy.
And that's what,
That's all.
that's what I would like.
That's fine, but that is a given.
Yeah, and that's why I asked that, because the reason why I say that is the reason. And I wanted to make sure that it's by the body of the legislative branch that we agreeing to this here, to make this be a part of this.
Okay, we'll go to Councilman Chris Thomas, and then I think Councilman Carmichael, and then Councilman Sam, Councilman Thomas.
Well, since Councilman Thomas brought this, my attention, have you all reached out, as of right now, we have Auburn DCI working on that person, have you all reached out to them to find out, what they're planning to put into the manual, because this is something that we're gonna have to vote on when they bring it back?
With regard to leave,
Let me respond to you. If I'm not mistaken, Councilwoman, you did not approve GEDI to go into the policy manual. We had a discussion. We got the 2015, we got a 2020 that was drafted but never voted on. And then we ended up with the job descriptions and the pay plan. And my request was for the council to go ahead and let's approve a contract for GEDI to go ahead and synchronize our policy manual with the job descriptions and the pay plan that we paid them to do. That would be that step, but I don't think you all did that vote.
And I cannot remember.
I don't think you did. I don't think you did, but I think.
I can check the minutes sometime, but sure I don't have them.
Auburn GEDI is supposed to be working on a personnel manual right now. You requested, Mayor.
Yeah, I did request it, but I don't think you all voted on it.
Yes, we did.
It was seven.
Yeah, it was after the job descriptions. I came and asked for it, but I don't think you all voted.
We voted.
We discussed it.
All right, well, council, for purposes of what's presented before us, COVID is a current problem now. It's a problem now. If you go everywhere, it's affecting everybody's workforce. And so in this uncertain time, I think we need to be proactive. And work on something now for this. And then, like everything else, come back, revisit it, make it better, do whatever needs to be done. But I believe because we have a workforce problem everywhere, we need to get some type of parameters on this. And to me, this is a step in the right direction. To give the employees some service, because y'all know that has been an issue with COVID everywhere. That's why our lines are longer. That's why it takes you longer to get something to eat. It's affected every facet of life. And so it's just my thought, it's me. I'm thinking we need to act on something now and then come back, get the minutes, review whatever, and do what needs to be done. That's just me. Councilman Carmichael, I think, was next. Then I'm gonna come to Councilman Randolph and then back to Councilman Thomas. All right.
I think that's a good point to just get an opinion on how other cities do it. I do think they can look, and we have to be competitive in how we do that. Secondly, did we add or did we find where we needed to have a positive test? That wording in there that we discussed, I think we agreed, Mayor, that we thought probably needed to be in there, that we needed to have proof of a positive test in order to get in order to be rewarded these
Yes, and that is something we agreed to do. But I also thought about something else we need to put in there, and that is not only a positive test before you're eligible for the time off, but you also, I think we need to put some interim negative tests in that 10-day window. In other words, in 5 days you need to be tested because the CDC says 5 days, and so I think we would be in line to put a 5-day benchmark in there, come up with a negative test or a positive test, but also keep in mind that the test don't necessarily mean that you're negative or positive, because you get false negatives and false positives.
But it is doctor's approved.
But it's doctor's approved, but if you still have symptoms, I still don't want folks to come to the office. The whole idea is to not have people feel like they forced to come in while they're sick. That's the whole idea. And so we need to pick, we're working on the language.
Right, council, and with that said, and I know, and thank you already, Councilman Randolph, Councilman Thomas. Let me interject this. This is important. So the way you do an ordinance is you usually place it on first reading, and then you come back. So the mayor just pointed out some language that may need to be adjusted to it. Councilman Carmichael pointed, we need to fix it up a little bit better, and then they give us time to check to see if Auburn, UDI, whatever, if we work with them to do one. But we can vote to place it on first read. That doesn't mean we're voting for it, but that means we'll further this on down the road so that we can make a move on this sooner rather than later. So, is there any council member that is willing to make a motion that we place this ordinance on first read? Is there a second? All right, please allow the minutes to reflect that it was moved by Councilwoman Christie Thomas and properly seconded by Councilman Randolph to place ordinance 0101-21/22 COVID-19 personnel procedures on first read. Are we ready for the question? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
President Young.
Yes.
Councilman Harville.
Yes.
Councilwoman Christie Thomas. Councilman Carmichael.
Yes.
Councilwoman James.
Yes.
Councilman Randolph.
Yes.
Councilman Jemison.
Yes.
Councilwoman Jamie Thomas. Councilman Johnson.
Yes.
Thank you, council, for your votes. We appreciate it. All right.
It's not an easy subject. I think I said this was the last time.
Right.
And I couldn't answer Councilwoman Christie Thomas' question. No, I did not. Y'all just, in your physical.
We're going to check and verify.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you, already voted on consent agenda. Buckeye Avenue street name change. Miss Sheila Evans is in the audience tonight. She did a couple of things. She did quite a few things, but one of the things she did recently was ask about the cost of the street sign. I think you discussed that too, Councilman Randolph.
Yes. Yes, I did want that up.
$50.
Most of that, is gonna take down the street sign, whatever the street sign is, because Ms. Evans was a member of the church. She served at our church in Hershey for years and years and years. So the pastor and the deacons and Lawrence pay for the sign. So Ms. Evans need to give the city to figure out how to live.
$50.
Huh?
$50.
Okay, we're gonna put two signs, one in the end of the street, one stop down the church.
$100.
No, that's all right, I got it.
And what I wanted to do is two things. Miss, yes, sir.
And I missed, I would be able to vote on the consent agenda, but I want to vote for, Madam Clerk.
We didn't have that on the consent.
Oh,
So you're good. Yeah, you're good. You're good.
Okay.
This is a map. I tried to, I took it to the wrong person last time. I
That's
apologize. But at least I remember. I apologize that I didn't.
you know the order.
I remember. The seal handout is the council's facility that all of that they already know. And this is the people who know this are approaching or whether or not they approve the street name being changed. I don't think anyone objected. There might have been one or two. I don't think even two people who were not home. Nobody objected. The map attached to the seal handout is a map of where Buckeye Avenue sits in the city. And that's attached to the handout. The council said, don't open it. I didn't open it. As a matter of fact, I put more tape on it since the last time. Ms. Evans brought her personal congrats and thank you to the council for your consideration of this matter. I'm recommending that the street Buckeye Avenue be changed to the name Sheila Evans Street, and Ms. Evans has waited long enough for this to be done. So I totally and enthusiastically endorse Councilman Cook. I suggested that they be open after the vote. And I think that's your, go ahead and do it right now.
So, Attorney Madison.
There should be two maps.
Okay, good.
The reason there are maps attached to the envelope is because your application requires maps showing where a map showing where Buckeye is so that you can visually see. The Evans family actually did their own survey of the street, and if I'm not mistaken, nobody objected. Is that right? Ms. Evans? Then the city, in conjunction with the application process, had employees of the city go back to the street. That's what the contents of this envelope consists of right now. A petition to change the street name from Buck Avenue to Dorothy M. Evans Avenue. I believe I said street earlier. Petitioner has requested the city of Selma, by action of the city council, to change the name of the street on which you live from Buckeye Avenue to Dorothy M. Evans Avenue. Your printed name, signature, and address below are all that is necessary to verify that you agree with the change of name. If the change of name is to take effect, you will have the responsibility to notify all of your business and legal contacts of your change of address, as well as anyone with whom you regularly communicate where an address is required. I wanted each citizen before signing that to know what they were agreeing to do. I have here the name I'm going to circulate for the council at large to see. If you have any questions, I'll see if I can answer them. Go ahead and ask them. By the way, while you're passing those around, because of my efforts to be as thorough as possible in giving you information to make this vote, I think I recall, I pointed out earlier, some weeks ago, that I contacted the Memorials Act Committee to get information from them about this process, and actually appeared virtually at one of their committee meetings. I also got feedback on what constitutes a valid search for information about whether or not a street, building, property, public property has been memorialized. We are now using that process for every application that comes before this body. It's given us a roadmap in the city, including the Memorials Act, verification of compliance with the Memorials Act, to do what you're doing now.
All right, council, I believe attorney has presented a recommendation for the council to approve the name change
That is correct.
of the street. And can you give me the exact name that you are proposing that it be changed to?
To Dart, just a second. Sure, Dorothy M. Evans Boulevard, Delaware Evans Avenue, Dorothy M. Evans Avenue.
Dorothy M. Evans.
M period, middle initial, M period,
And you want the middle initial?
yes,
M.
and Dorothy M. Evans Avenue,
Okay. And we are changing the street name from
Buckeye.
Buckeye Avenue. Councilman Randolph, I'm so accustomed to hearing 408 Buckeye Avenue. I've been hearing that my whole life. Evan, Dorothy and Evan. Okay. All right, so council, we have before us a recommendation coming from our attorney. We have labored over this issue for a while. Also, the Evans family has been very patient, and we give them a lot of gratitude for their patience during this time, because there was a lot we had to get in order to make sure we were in compliance. So we appreciate the family's patience and working with us on this. But now, council, we have, and Councilwoman Jane Thomas has reviewed this because it's in her ward, and rightfully so, she's had an opportunity to review this as well. So therefore, council, considering all of the information that is presented to us at all of these various meetings and all of the other circumstances and facts, is there a motion to approve the name change of Buckeye Avenue to now Dorothy M. Evans Avenue? Is there a motion? Thank you. Let the record reflect that Councilwoman Jane Thomas made the motion and Councilman Sam Randolph seconded said motion to rename Buckeye Avenue to now Dorothy M. Evans Avenue pursuant to all information and under Alabama law. With that, are we ready for the question? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
President Young,
Yes.
Councilman Harville,
Yes.
Councilwoman Christie Thomas.
Yes.
Councilman Carmichael,
Yes.
Councilwoman Jane,
Yes.
Councilman Randolph,
Yes.
Councilman Jennison,
Yes.
Councilwoman Jamie Thomas,
Yes.
Councilman Johnson.
Yes.
Thank you, council. And at this time, let us acknowledge and the Evans family and Miss Dorothy M. Evans. Yes. Go ahead, Councilman Randolph.
I just wanna, every time, go way back. The first vote, some things they together. One school. Then he's laughed at when my dad used to drop my head up in church. But anyway, just want to thank y'all for being patient with us, you know. Like I said, Miss Evans, true to love and want to stop. And she was true to love at the police department. All right, thank y'all.
Thank y'all.
Very good. Councilwoman Thomas, you have anything you need to say?
I just want to say this to this family. I knew that, I like to tell you. I knew you guys were waiting a minute and during the time of their loved one, they have sisters, aunties. They were hoping that we would get this done, but you know, she's looking down. And she's looking down and she's shy too. So I just want to tell y'all, they all put that sign about me out and get y'all take a picture. All right. All right. Want y'all to open the envelope, that picture, basically says, give it back. So that'll show y'all how important she is, not just to us, but to the city. Thank you, thank you.
Wow. That's an issue right there. Thank you. Thank you. We're very proud and thankful to take that vote. All right, council, let's move on to the next item, Mr. Chairman.
Elevator contract already. On page 2 down down at the bottom, alcohol application for Sparkles Salon. Call it salon. I want to call it salon to somebody else who owns it. I get it, but I want to call it salon. The application for Sparkle Salon is due to be placed on first read, and it was presented. There was an L of 2% last time, and I had my wires crossed with the other alcohol application, which was already placed on first read. But I'm asking the council to place the alcohol application for Sparkles Salon on first read.
This recommendation coming from our attorney on the alcohol application for Sparkles, SALOON. So with that said, is there a motion to approve said recommendation, this item placed on first? I'm sorry, Councilman Carmichael, go ahead.
Did we find out that if we could, suspend the rules on that?
Because of the confusion, I was not asking for the rules to be suspended. If you can, if you so choose, I was not asking for that.
Mr. President, yeah, I'd like to make a motion, go ahead and move forward to suspend it, because this young lady been before us, and she's been trying to open up for a long, and right now, I think, she's been going through a lot of problems with our, fire department, the fire department, the inspectors, and, so, yeah, I'd like to make a motion to go ahead and move forward, suspend the rules, and go ahead and vote on tonight.
I hear what you're saying, and I'm good with it, but I would like to know, I guess, is this just a local ordinance, or is there a state ordinance that requires it to be placed? I guess that's what Councilman Carmichael was asking. Is it not just because if it's local, of course we got the right to suspend whatever, but are there any state provisions which we would not be in compliance with?
We have done it in the past.
We have done it before?
We have done it before, but we're just trying to get it up this part. So we have done it before.
Okay. Attorney, are you aware of any state provisions that we would be violating if we were to not place this on first reading? Okay.
Miss, are you making this, Mount Clerk, have you recall we've done this before?
Yes, sir, we have suspended the rules in order to take.
That's all I need. Go ahead, Councilman Johnson.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
And, okay, Councilman Johnson, so moved. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, please allow the minutes to reflect that it was moved by Councilman Johnson and properly seconded by Councilman Carmichael to approve the alcohol application for Sparkles.
We need to suspend the rules.
Oh, thank you. We have a motion for us to suspend the rules.
Right.
Thank you, Council, thank you, Madam Clerk. All right, so it's been moved that we suspend the rules to approve the alcohol application for Sparkles, Saloon. Are there any questions? Any questions? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
President Young,
I am voting yes on this based off of advice from council.
Council Harville,
Yes.
Councilwoman Christie Thomas,
I am also voting only based on the advice from our attorney and counsel.
Councilman Carmichael,
Yes.
Councilwoman James,
Yes.
Councilman Randolph,
Yes.
Councilman Jemison,
Yes.
Councilwoman Janie Thomas, Councilman Johnson.
Yes, with experience.
With that said, can you read back the results of the votes, Madam Clerk?
We have 8 affirmatives and 1 abstention.
8 affirmative, 1 absent. So the motion to suspend rules has passed. So now, council, we have before us a motion to approve the alcohol application for Sparkles. Is there such motion?
So moved.
Is there a second? Second. Please allow the minutes to reflect that it was moved by Councilman Johnson and properly seconded by Councilman Jemison to approve the alcohol application for Sparkles, SALOON. Are we ready for the question? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
President Young,
Yes.
Councilman Harville.
Yes.
Councilwoman Christie Thomas.
Yes.
Councilman Carmichael.
Yes.
Councilwoman James.
Yes.
Councilman Randolph.
Yes.
Councilman Jemison.
Yes.
Councilwoman Janie Thomas. Councilman Johnson.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. You may proceed to the next item, Mr. Attorney.
Item number 11, I think we're also taking to executive session.
Yes, sir.
12, resolution R 137-21/22, dilapidated structures, phase 2. You were presented with both resolution and backup documentation concerning dilapidated structures. The communication, I received communication from Councilman Carlisle today, asking certain questions. I don't know if you wanted those answered before you vote or not.
That'd be good.
The questions that were asked were, I think, 6, and I have the answers, but for some reason did not print out the questions. And the answers, go ahead and read them one at a time.
I was wondering what qualifies the house to come off of this.
Liens from outside agencies, letters returned to the sender, properties that have changed hands, building permits that were purchased for repairs, and some other miscellaneous items.
Okay, so if they purchase a building permit or something of that nature, just have proof of it.
Right, the dilapidated structures are not necessarily all structures that have to be demolished. They're structures that are in need of serious or significant repair, and if not repaired, then can be demolished either by the owner or the city.
All right, and the next question was, what is next in this process after we vote on this?
Demolition can start.
Demolition can start.
Yes, sir.
I mean, we would have to vote for a contract, or is the city demolishing these houses, or what, how does that?
Not to approve the resolution. Once the resolution is approved, demolition can start. The question is, who will demolish, is what you're getting at. And if the homeowner doesn't demolish, then the city can demolish and attach a lien for the cost of the demolition.
So after this, there's no specific amount of days before the demolition happens. There's another 30 day or 45 day or anything like that.
Once the resolution is passed, the demolition can commence.
Okay, if somebody brought, you know, we've got a building permit next week for the house that they want to work on, it was on this list. What?
And they're all, Councilman, there are probably a number of scenarios that will go the same down or different from that. Some people, knowing the house is about to be demolished, might do exactly that, go get a permit to do repairs. It's a question then of whether or not they in good faith get the permit and in good faith start the repairs. I would not advise somebody's house to turn around if they show up with the permit and they're commencing work to repair it. Some of these structures are in situations where they have to be demolished, some are not. So it's going to be a judgment call based mainly on code enforcement. I'm not going around checking houses, and code would have to refer to me, hey, attorney, we've got a situation where the owner is going to get a permit, say she's going to start in 7 days. I'm saying in day 8, if you hadn't started, we have the right to tear it down.
Right. All right. What part of the historic commission play in the historic homes?
Standing in development is handling properties in the historic division with code enforcement assistance.
Okay, so the historic homes will now go to the historic commission for approval.
We've had interaction with and continue to have interaction with both the state and I hope local historical preservation committee. There has been at least one meeting, if not 2, at least one that I attended, where a program, a process was laid out, which not only integrated historic preservation, but the mayor is insisting on feedback and feedback from historic preservation on how long, how much time they need in order to make sure that we're doing what we need to be doing in accordance with state statute.
Okay. Thank you. And I think so I appreciate y'all giving me time to answer this, get those questions answered. I just want make sure we got a lot out. Just want to make sure we're clear.
And we just getting started in earnest. I'm expecting probably, I don't know, Stephen, maybe on the Zoom, but we're expecting many more things right away. Many more. Yes, ma'am.
Attorney, on the previous list, there was one in my ward, and I thought that it was on this list that it's taken off. Do you have an update on that? No.
I'm not sure about this property, Councilwoman Thomas. Do you have an address?
It's, 521, Merrimack Close.
I believe that was actually in Ward 3, that put it on Ward 3 this time. And it was
But we voted on it, with the previous list.
You want to know if it was taken off, why it was taken off, is that what you're asking? I can't answer that right now. Is Steve Evans on, maybe he can answer.
Yes, if I'm not mistaken, well, good afternoon, everybody. I'm thinking that house, I don't have the information right in front of me, but I'm thinking that Medicaid may have a lien on that property. If I'm not mistaken, but I can double check that and get with you tomorrow, but I'm thinking that's why that one came off.
So, Mr. Hendricks, so if something came off this list, there was a reason why that y'all took it off, right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
May I make a request that next time that we get the reasoning behind why the property was taken off the list, that when it gets to this point, just so we'll know that, you know, if it's a lien or if they're actually.
I couldn't understand what he was saying. He's an echo.
All right. If you don't mind, when we get to this point next time, when we have the second list that comes through, if we can get the reasoning why the properties were taken off the list, and that will answer, I think, a lot of our questions.
Okay, not a problem.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am, go ahead.
I have one for the attorney Madison, on my, dilapidated, structure home in my ward, and, the one that you got in my ward. And I'm trying to figure out, this is a public safety issue, it's a house that, this house here should be, I want to look at it. Family that is behind here, this house. Is coming out, yeah. It is not on the list, there's one, the that live in houses, right here on Calvin Street, back here.
What's street?
House, take care, and First Avenue. That home right there should be immediately taken down. You see, the family that lives back there behind it, the whole house is coming down. And if we don't, do something, it's gonna fall over on there.
Steve, did you hear that?
It's
Yes,
right
I hear. Yes, I hear it, and I got our work order, and we were trying to contact the people who own it. We were doing that today, so I know exactly what you're talking about.
The president, yes, sir, I'm asking somebody, hey, Mr. Hendricks, this burnt house on Ward Avenue, where two, husband and wife, live in it. I think it's been 3 years now. I talked to the owner of the house, and he said that he was advised not to tear the house down. Could y'all please look into that, because, I think we had it on the list once before, we had the house torn down. And I'm thinking from this attorney, I'm not sure. Have y'all got any advice on that, not to have the house torn down? The owner said that he was advised not to tear the house down. Through the fire marshal, the fire inspectors, have we got anything from the attorney saying that we can't tear the house down?
I have to check on it, Councilman Johnson. We have in the past been put on hold because fire investigations are not done or whatever, but I can't check on it. I didn't hear what house you were talking about, but if you just, get it to me, I can check on it, no doubt.
It's basically on water and, maxing, based almost on water maxing.
Water.
Yeah, please check, and I think, you know, when I told us, this about McGee, she know the house that this one talking about.
Is this one on the list right now, Council Johnson?
No, but like I was doing, I just.
It was, okay.
Well, I will tell you this. I heard this question, why some houses are not on there. I can tell you we got about 350 to 400 more to do. So there will be many lists coming after this. So if it's not on this list, it'll, you know, good chance it'll be on the next one or the one after that. So we have plenty more coming.
But may I say this, you take care of the one that really is a public safety issue to have someone home that's about to fall over to their property. And that's the reason why I'm bringing this up. In a matter of time, if we don't do anything, it won't be said that the representative did bring this up to the body, that we need to take care of this issue. Whoever is a state property.
Go ahead, Council.
Very interesting when I was reading codes, because apparently that's what it says in our code section 11-12 that it shall be unlawful for anyone to neglect or refuse for 24 hours to remove any chimney, wall, or other part of any building or structure which, as a result of fire, has become or may become dangerous to passersby or to persons on the premises or to adjoining property after receiving due notice to do so from the chief of the fire department. So that was an interesting find to me. And once the details, they gotta remove that, they got 24 hours to do it. Or versus citation. Hoping we can get some of these burned buildings there.
That's correct.
I was aware of there being a time constraint, which section did you read from council?
11-12. Yeah, 11-12. All right, so, let's see. Based on 1954.
Okay. Thank you.
Please, council, if there are questions concerning this, because I don't mind, and we don't mind talking this one out a little bit longer, because we're dealing with property and both property interests. So there needs to be a thorough discussion and examination of this, because we are dealing with someone's rights, their property. And we know how we feel if we're in that position. So are there any, on this attachment, with all of these listed properties on here, council, are there any concerns about whether any of these should be on this list or not? Because we have had before to go through it, and we found out there might be one that was not, should not be on the list, so that's happened.
I have some on mine that I was going to, some of them, I have some on mine.
You have, go ahead.
Yeah,
Council.
but I don't want, I'm not gonna, I'm gonna let them, the owner, the proper owner, we met and they talked and I told them, contact him.
So you're gonna put them in contact
I
with
told
the
them to
attorney?
contact the attorney,
Okay,
city attorney,
okay.
because this was this came from.
Any other property, thank you, Councilman Thomas. Any other properties that are concerns or questions about?
The only ones that I'm concerned about is mine, and I'll make sure that anybody that's has concerns knows that they come to City Hall and express those concerns. Just the ones that take it off. I want to make sure if somebody got a building permit, and then they don't do anything. I don't know how we stay proactive on making sure that they fix these places as well.
We are building inspector.
Yeah, so I just want to make sure that how long that building permit stays in use or whatever.
But, thank you. We as council members, we now can help our citizens because we know what we need to tell them in order to get their home off or their property off. So as good council members, we can actually advise them of who and what they need to do. So that's good stuff. With that, go ahead, Mayor.
Essentially, we'll be doing that. Let's make sure you tell them when they purchase that building permit, they need to put it on that building.
It needs to be visible.
It needs to be publicly visible on that building. Otherwise,
right.
The next day, it's like.
Right.
Mayor, what's the loss rather than permit? I mean, if that's not a building permit, keep it on there for so long, we don't do it. How do we follow up on that?
I think, do you remember that? I think it's 90 days. I think there is a window that they have to actually start doing the work or it avoids that leniency that they receive. They're supposed to do the work.
And I think that's what the building permit period, whether there's a demolition or not.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And I'm also certain that since it's gotten this far on possibly being demolished, that it taking off is now in the attention of code enforcement. So essentially, this property has been flagged. And so if there isn't anything on it, then of course code enforcement will be on top of it because it's already been under their view. So this is a good way to get these places fixed. All right, with that said, council, we have before us resolution, help me out, R 137-21/22, dilapidated structures, phase 2, with an attachment of listed property. Council members, is there a motion to approve said motion? All right, it was moved by Councilwoman James and properly seconded by Councilman Johnson to approve resolution R 137. What's my place? R 137-21/22. Thank you so much. With that said, are we ready for the question? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
President Young,
I will abstain due to a conflict with ownership.
Councilman
Let me
Parker,
clarify, due to the conflict, I'm a state of Alabama employee, therefore I abstain from voting, and the state of Alabama is listed as an owner. Thank you. Just to make sure you got it right. I don't have a problem. Just keep it real. Thank you very much. I heard the, I knew I had to say something. I'm sorry, I'm supposed to be before. So go ahead, I'm sorry.
Councilman Parker,
Yes.
Councilwoman Christie Thomas,
Yes.
Councilman Carmichael,
Yes.
Councilwoman James,
Yes.
Councilman Randolph,
Yes.
Councilman Jemison,
Yes.
Councilwoman Jamie Thomas,
I'm gonna have to abstain too because, I have, some property on here that, on this list that, I can't vote on right now to have everything.
Councilman Johnson.
Yes. All right, Madam Clerk, can you read back the results of said vote?
7 affirmative and 2 abstentions.
All right, that resolution passed, Mr. Turner.
Thank
You may proceed to the next item.
Thank you for your clarification and your candor. The next item is item number 13. Recreation MOU. It's been styled an agreement between the county of Dallas, Alabama, and the city of Selma.
We voted on it, I'm sorry.
You did pass it on.
Yes, sir.
I have it in my notes, but I do have a companion report for it. That's what I wanted to do. There is an agreement between the county and the city who've already passed on. As a result of the work to be done, I've got 3 resolutions concerning the awarding of bids in 2 of those instances. And I request for you to reject the bids in 1 instance. And I'll clarify now. There were 3 separate scopes of work at Memorial Stadium, Block Park, and the softball complex for repairs. I believe the preponderance of this was for Zeta damage. Is that correct, Ms. Madam Clerk? Zeta damage.
Yes, sir.
And some funds are forthcoming from Amy to offset the cost of these repairs. I don't have the tally from the moment, but we've been discussing this for over a year now, I think, is the point. The resolutions are to, in the case of 138, resolution 138-21/22, to ask you to award the bid for the Memorial Stadium repairs And in the case of 139-21/22, to award the bid for the block park grandstand repairs. In the case of resolution 140-21/22, to reject the bids for the softball complex repairs. I think the clerk, Madam Clerk, and her associate are passing out documentation, backup documentation. I'll give you a chance to review that and ask any questions you might have.
Mr. Chairman, I think I've been asked already, why do we just have 2 on one of them? We have 3 on the others. I might be looking wrong, but I might have all the information.
I'm sure.
Oh, okay.
Is that the one that was, cited?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, he submitted his bid like.
He, the third to be there is like, so that's why it's not. Okay. Thank you.
I'm sorry, anybody say the resolution? Where does the funding come from for these?
The financing is coming from the general fund, we're offset from the insurance to cover as much as can be covered.
Yeah, these are from hurricane related.
That's 100% covered by insurance.
I don't know how much.
No,
I don't believe it's 100%. I don't believe it's 100%.
No.
So it's by accepting these resolutions and then are we also accepting to pay in full for these? Or are we gonna have some more documentation for what's not where that's going?
The insurance adjuster advised us to go ahead and let the bid, and then we're to take up the results of the bid.
That's it. That's what we just.
That's what I said.
So what on the duck bill?
But also,
Can we have the duck on this?
the government is $5,000 on our policy.
So taking the results of this, and so this resolution is just to accept the results of it, not to move forward with construction.
We're to move forward with the construction once we take this back to the insurance company, and they will submit their reimbursement.
But I get the import of your question, and what I'm hearing is you would prefer, once we get the information back from the insurance company, to come back to you and say, here's how much money we got, here's what we need.
Yeah, well, where it's going, and how much we got spent.
Yes. Yes,
They have to come back to them once we get back.
I get it. She said the same thing you're saying, Council. You're gonna have to come back with the contracts anyway.
if the dialogue is great, but let's do a little more great, Councilwoman Thomas.
Is this, dealing with the state of hurricane reimbursement from the insurance? My question is to this, I asked, last night, we didn't get, and this was my question that I wanted to ask. the amount that they were having to speak about with the insurance. So we have public, we have been last night about the reimbursement, and none of this came across to us last.
The insurance company is doing what all insurance companies do. They want to know, well, let me finish it. You got a question, I'll answer.
Yes.
What's
You
your
wouldn't
question?
let me finish.
I'm sorry, what's your question?
You wasn't at the meeting. The report that we got, on all reimbursements from the insurance, the city's property. That was the one, the question 9 and 5 that we wanted to know about. It said something about 121.
I'm not,
No,
again.
I'm not addressing.
Yeah,
I'm
okay.
talking to you.
I got it pulled up, Miss Jenny. Which one you talking about?
The one that we wanted to ask the question about, the 121,000.
That was bird school.
Okay, and we was talking about the decision on the damage. There's one report that we did get. So before I vote, I want to ask you this here. These 3 proposals that you give it to us, is the city property damage from hurricanes and the amount of insurance that reimbursed. Do you know, can you tell us the amount of insurance reimbursed for that?
Once again, Councilwoman Thomas, the resolution is designed to get you to accept the bids. They'll be forwarded to the insurance companies, who will then assess what they're going to pay,
Okay.
And then we come back to the council with contract recommendations on contract and amounts available and fund accounts for recommendations.
I understand what you're saying, but I'm looking at the schedule this minute gave us yesterday, our committee meeting. And it, for example, it says Memorial Stadium, that the claim was approved and that we have received partial payment of $64,449.58. So it looks like, and it appears from looking at the schedule, investors come out and they decide what they're going to pay and go there in a written check. I don't think we've got to submit.
I don't think that's the correct entirely, Council.
Why would they pay?
There's ongoing discussion with Amy over all of this. There's discussion about exactly what's owed, the estimates that were given, who gave the estimates, how accurate those estimates are, escalation of labor and materials costs. We want to get acceptance of the bid to the insurance company so we can give you an accurate figure on what's going to be paid to do the construction, then come back to you on with that information and the contracts themselves.
That was a conversation with Mr. Pete, with Amit, and all of us. And what has been said is, even though they've given us these numbers, these numbers are projections. Because when they, as an example, if they go into a situation and they take the ceiling out, they may see something else in the roof that needs to be done. So they are willing to make adjustments on these numbers as we move through the process.
That makes more sense.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
They call a supplement.
Yes, sir. That's exactly.
They call a supplement, because they can't take something they can't see. We call it in-damage, like the mayor said, once they get into the job, they'll come back and be reappraised.
All right, and I hear resolution. Do we have a resolution type with this that we vote on?
Yes, sir.
We have a resolution. I don't see I don't have it.
We have 3 resolutions.
Oh, were they emailed?
And I'm still
under additional items from
Oh, they were emailed.
This is 138 and 139. This is 138.
This is something more. That's all.
But
Just go.
I guess I need some clarification. We are set. That constitute some sort of legal agreement some, whatever the right semantics are, if we enter the contract.
No,
No,
no.
no.
You enter a contract by drafting a contract. You enter a contract by drafting a contract. The city, any political subdivision has the right to accept or reject bids, to review and rebid, to refuse to accept any of the bids. That's what the third resolution I'm going to present you is exactly, to reject one of the bids. So right now we're talking acceptance or rejection of bids only.
Okay, so what does the acceptance of the low bid constitute?
It constitutes your establishing that a low bid has been recognized. And the contract only would award a contract once it's executed and approved, drafted, and presented to and approved by the council. There is no contract to do the work by accepting the bid.
Just to short, we gotta have a contract to do work, and accepting the low bid.
A contract, the scope of work, a funding source, a funding amount, and we gotta take the money there.
Okay, all right, Councilman, comment, did you have something else?
No, I was just saying that this is what we said earlier, this is a starting point, we'll get a contract.
Right, that's a start. Yes, sir. All right, so Mr. Attorney, what is your recommendation concerning, these items that have been presented? What is your recommendation? I think you said 3 different items.
There's
We go for each one.
3 separate resolutions, 138-21/22, 139-21/22, and 140-21/22. 138 is to accept the bid for Memorial Stadium repairs.
Okay.
The bid for Memorial Stadium repairs.
That's 138, okay.
139-21/22 is to accept the bid for Block Park grandstand repairs.
139, okay.
And 140-21/22 is to reject bids, all bids for the softball complex repairs.
So the only one we don't have is.
We're doing one for, that was Block Park.
For 139.
138 is Block Park. I'm sorry, is 139 or 138? Which one is Block Park?
139 is Block Park.
139 is Block Park, and then 138 is the stadium.
Yes, and 140 is the softball complex repair.
We don't have the bids for.
You should have bids for all of them.
We do.
Oh, but I don't, you said 139,000, I don't see it. I see a 15. I see a 15, a 157.
I didn't want to get into a discussion about the amounts because of the fact that one of these has to be reviewed. You can see the amounts in the paperwork.
Oh. All right. There's a lot of noise, so it's hard to hear. All right. Okay, so our recommendation coming from the attorney is resolution 138 dash 21/22 to accept the bids entered for Block Park. Resolution 139/21/22 to accept the bids. I'm sorry, 138 was accept the bid for the stadium. 139 is to accept the bid for Block Park. And resolution 140/21/22 is to reject the bid for the softball complex.
President Young, Councilwoman Chris Thomas brought it to my attention that the resolved paragraph of 138 and 139 stops short of saying be accepted. Those are being presented 138 and 139 solely for the purpose of being accepted, those bids. But she's absolutely right. Somehow the two words be accepted did not appear on 138.
Where should that verbiage go in the, where should it go?
Be accepted. Behind be it therefore resolved that the bids from Stewart Construction Company Incorporated be accepted.
Be accepted.
Be
Okay.
accepted.
So we need that
Same thing.
additional verbiage in both resolutions.
139.
Okay. All right.
Can I ask one more question?
Go ahead.
Yes,
Go ahead.
Mr. Chuckman. Are we, the bids on block park, looks like we have one that should not be considered. And we have, is our house in the resolution responsible bid? Got this at 15,000.
That was not a responsible.
And that's where we're covering ourselves.
That's correct.
Responsible.
That's
Okay, I'm good. Okay.
Dr. Hendricks and the clerk were intimately involved in both the producing of the scopes of work and receiving the bids. I actually walked into the bid opening and didn't state. That's why I'm deferring to both of them right now.
Okay. All right, everybody. I think we are on the same page as far as understanding, most of us at least. All right, so the recommendation coming from our committee to approve resolution R 138-21/22, resolution to award bid for Memorial Stadium repairs. We also have before us resolution 139-21/22, resolution to award bid for Block Park grandstand repairs. For both said resolutions, there's an addition of additional language, which is to include be accepted in the resolved paragraph. We also have before us a recommendation from the attorney to reject resolution 140-21/22 regarding softball complex repair. That is what is before this body to vote upon at this time. Is there a motion to approve said recommendation? Is there, okay, excellent. Been moved by Councilman Jemison and properly seconded by Councilman Carmichael to approve resolution 138, 139 with additional language to be made, and to reject resolution 140. Are we ready for the question? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
President Young,
Yes.
Councilman Harvey,
Yes.
Councilwoman Christie Thomas, Councilman Carmichael.
Yes.
Councilwoman James.
Yes.
Councilman Randolph.
Yes.
Councilman Jefferson,
Yes.
Councilwoman Jamie Thomas. Councilman Johnson.
Yes.
All right. Next item, Mr. Turner.
Thank you all.
Next item is Newburgh Missionary Baptist Church family.
Just one announcement, on Monday, 3 o'clock, mark your calendars. That is the time when the county and the city will come together to formally sign the agreement. I think we're gonna end up doing that at Block Park. We will confirm the location. But we want to do an announcement on this. So we'll do a press conference and an announcement. So please mark your calendars and try to be in attendance because this is a big deal for our community. Thank you, Council. Monday at 3 o'clock. Yes, and we may have to come back now with the ask for a special call meeting because of the time constraints of getting that softball complex done. We make 2 weeks is a long time. We really need to go ahead and expedite that bid process and get that work started. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Turner.
Thank you, Mayor, President Young. The Newburgh Missionary Baptist Church application is being circulated now as we speak. And due to the pressure of time, I received it today. That's why we get it today. But there is a February 9th date that's being requested for filming, which would have pushed it to a day later, 1 day later, the next council meeting for a vote. And just as with the opioid resolution, I didn't see, wait till 24 hours before they would bring anything before you. So I was prevailed upon by some of my other department heads to do this tonight, and I want to accede to their request and present it to you. The church is out of Georgia, and you see where on the address on the front page. They want to film on the night. They're asking for filming at 3 different locations, one of which is the bridge. They have a 3.5 hour window. They're not asking to film at the bridge 3.5 hours. They want to film there for some time. And I did have I did have that listing of times, but they want to film less than 3 hours at the bridge. They're also gonna go attend 2 churches, visit 2 churches, finish filming. They're actually filming this with a speaker, a guest speaker, and this is part of a religious service they're putting together. They want to use basically the bridge itself as a backdrop. I was asked to present it to you. It's been run past the chief of police, fire chief, the planning and development director. She and I discussed it on the day. She met in my office. We went over the application. They paid the money, as I've been told. Is that correct, Madam Clerk?
Yes, sir.
They paid the application fee. And again, because of this filming need to take place on the 9th of February, it was best I thought to go ahead and present it tonight for your consideration and approval.
Right. Madam Clerk, do we usually place these on first read, or do we just vote on them? We can just vote on, okay, very good. Council, you have before you the application for a commercial film, video, and audio production permit presented by New Birth Missionary Baptist Church. The minister of that church is the pastor, is Reverend Jamal Bryant. He's been to Selma before, during the Bridge Crossing Jubilee, to speak, so he has been to Selma before. So you have before you that, permit. Are there any questions concerning said permit?
And I have another comment to make, if you don't mind, President. One of the representatives of the church made herself available tonight to answer any questions you might have.
Very good. Are there any questions? Hearing no questions, is there a motion to approve application for commercial film, video, audio production permit? Is there a second? All right, please allow the record to reflect that it's moved by Councilman Johnson and properly seconded by Councilwoman Chrissy Thomas to approve the application for commercial film, video, audio production permit for New Birth Missionary Baptist Church. I'll be ready for the question. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
President Young.
Yes.
Councilman Harville.
Yes.
Councilwoman Christie Thomas.
Yes.
Councilman Carmichael.
Yes.
Councilwoman James.
Yes.
Councilman Randolph.
Yes.
Councilman Dennison.
Yes.
Councilwoman Jamie Thomas.
Yes.
Councilman Johnson.
Yes.
Excellent. All right, Mr. Attorney, your next item.
I believe that's it, with the exception of the items you have to be heard in executive session.
Did we need to act on one of those alcohol applications? I thought we had another alcohol application on the.
Did we start?
It started already.
Oh, go ahead.
I would like to get an opinion on this because I've got all the neighbors against it. And of course, it's a driver's license, but Councilman Randolph brought up a good point the other day. And I've gotten one legal opinion that said we should probably hold a public hearing and make sure we have.
Oh, big star.
That we have the neighbors on record as being against it and hear from the applicant. But if you don't mind, you can get an opinion from.
I don't mind. I don't mind because of the concern you expressed the last time and the same reason you're making this known now. I think we would probably engender more community pushback and turbulence if we don't do it. Don't have some sort of feedback in the community.
Yeah, okay. Well, you just get an opinion on how we need to move forward with that law.
I'll do that. I'll do that.
So we'll hold until we get the opinion. I'll just place it on hold. All right. That concludes all of the items other than the executive session items that have been submitted. Therefore, council, at this time, the chair is entertaining a motion to go into executive session pursuant to Code of Alabama 36-25A-7, A1 and A4. Are we ready for the evening discussion? 30 minutes. Okay.
May I approach the bench?
Yes, sir.
Oh, just a second.
All right, with that said, Mayor. Okay, with that said, we have before us a motion for an executive session pursuant to 36-25A-7, A1, A4. Are we ready? Is there a motion? All right, was moved by Councilman Harville, seconded by Councilman Johnson, to go for a period of 30 minutes for executive session to discuss those issues. Are we ready for the question? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
President Young?
Yes.
Councilman Harville?
Yes.
Councilwoman Christie Thomas? Councilman Carmichael?
Yes.
Councilwoman James?
Yes.
Councilman Randolph?
Yes.
Councilman Jefferson?
Yes.
Councilwoman Jamie Thomas?
Yes.
Councilman Johnson?
Yes.
Thank you. We are in executive session for at least the next 30 minutes.
Y'all have to work. Not with me, no. I got some. Okay. These are some questions. I wasn't here at the last meeting.
Let's knock this out, y'all. Y'all get ready.
That's not a map. That's a city.
Well, I had some, but I still didn't see the map. So it's possible you have.
Don't have
On their fees that they be yeah, but see, I wasn't expecting them to suspend. So I would have told her that she, I'm gonna tell Madison. Stated that. As opposed to the license, the fees that come to the city. I thought those were.
Not that I know of, I grabbed what I knew of.
You wanna come down and check and make sure?
I can, do I just go home now? I thought you said I got to go home with executive session.
I mean, I wanted to, but I don't know what's going on.
I was ready to go home, but I got to go home.
You got some stuff.
I stay there all the time, so it is hard to get a reservation. I know my boss here, try to get one there. Say it, just stand on it. You know, business here, you should use the 40 business. There's another grant opportunity coming up, and I think that one about saving places. Open it up. It's sort of like the same thing, and it's called something around land purchase that, or it's not the one that's existed before about the civil rights thing. It's just like how they can be used in the community to either for a congregation. You know, if you might want to know about that one, I'll bring you a copy of it. But it's on there. The same places where we're working with our congregation and almost kind of going out of existence and how they take on this grant. First thing instead of being reminded, they decide. And they have everything from food bank to big lunches to you know, all kind of stuff going on in their church, you know. But they still have worship. Beautiful, beautiful building. But so many of the churches that are downtown. I guess they call it Valley Grand Rapids. Now they used to be in town and they were called Central Rapids. Several years ago, they moved to Valley Grand Rapids. Of course, the Blue Jay Church used to be Disciples of Christ. And when Mr. Murrow, Reverend Murrow retired, they had to go to the side that we did not try to have a church in our next door. Yeah, my mind said we could take out of my platform. Well, you know, on the historic society board, we have one we submitted, but we haven't heard yet. It's called Telling the Whole Story. Sarah, you know, that's about it. It's gonna be a quarter after. It was a girl, you know, that she says that's where they used to have, eggs and I always stuff, but then you know, just so many years ago, different things. Without breaking the not sure.
All right.
She's the site director of Medical Health. She's you know, professional historic preservation. She has all these little files and notebooks, and she just loves history so much, and she just delves into stuff and documents this building, that building, this family, that family, just as a love of history. She's on a historic commission too, and she's like the world's affairs. And she does, you know, the historic walls and the history of this or that, you know, but she just really gets into
Strong survive. Leaving strong, they think we're the upper crust of the black. You like to do that transition first? Forward it.
If I really want to transition,
She is always on, so, you know, do not use him as educated. That's all I'm saying. Do not. So. No, I was at university.
So many. Right. Can't write.
We'll take that too. We'll take that. Look, I've been trying to give you a count. You just.
Thank you.
This is the last round. Joe is not there. We get to start right. They took something out. What I heard at party listen. Those on the DTs I have right now. I know the teachers, so, but the group there, you know, the group of kids that there. That's a good question. So, I'm doing that. Right. Really, the issue. Okay, I can feel up later. But being a composer, I can feel, I can still be a composer. I can go out and travel. One way.